So I'm about to take this 1200 Tiger triple back to Pure Triumph. After having covered a shed load of miles, most of them two up. And what are my key observations about this motorcycle? Well, I've tested almost every Tiger variant down the line over the last probably 10 years for Triumph. And the reality is, they do one job fantastically. I mean, they do many jobs really well, but they do one job fantastically well, and that is that they eat up mileage in safety, in comfort, and they do it fast, right, with massive amount of capacity. This bike is effortless. There's no question about it. Since they've gone over to things like the electronic suspension, and you can press this button with your thumb, a bit hard to get to, it has to be said. That lowers the bike down so that I can be flat-footed, which I've got to tell you, when you come to a traffic light, that is absolutely a boon. You know, from a confidence point of view, from a maneuvering point of view, it makes this motorcycle very special. Comfort is absolutely top drawer. No question about it, both for a rider and indeed for a pillion. And I have to say, you know, my partner rides herself now, she's passed the test, and it was a long way to the Goodwood Festival speed on the Tiger. And of course she moaned and bitched, but she would whatever motorcycle we're on. But the reality of it is we covered hundreds of miles in a day. And actually, by the end of it, she was in pretty good shape. So no, it's good for a rider. No, it's good for a pillion. Who's going to buy this bike? Well, they're expensive, but actually, when you start to break it down, look at the cycle parts, look at the connectivity, look at the fact that you can connect your phone with a slightly buggy Triumph app to the dash, so you've got all your turns coming up. You can put that in your helmet as well if you want, if you've got earphones in. You've got to say there's every bit of tech that a motorcycle can have on it. It's a handsome looking thing, and even for people like me who are not really adventure bike aficionados, I've barely owned an adventure bike. I've had a GS Urban, but that was kind of a pretend adventure bike. At least this thing's good looking when it's parked up. Stands out in a crowd, spotlight's banged on, people see you coming, you look over the traffic like a giant Range Rover. And actually, that's probably not a bad analogy. Imagine a reliable giant Range Rover. This is the motorcycle equivalent. Do I recommend it? Hell yes. And for me, as a second bike, if I can afford it, without a shadow of doubt, from commuting to work, from covering continents, would I take it off-road? No. I'm way too tiny. Even though it's off-road styled, I'm going to fall over in 10 seconds if I try that. So I'm going to get it back to the dealership now, but I've got to say, massively enjoyed my time with it, and they're a winner. And the people I'd recommend try this, if you ride a BMW GS of some description, particularly an adventure, you really owe it to yourself to try one of these. I think they're triple cylinder engine, it's like a jet. You might be surprised. And this one's got 150 brake, depending on rider mode. So you can have all the power, all the handling, and you can have the full Triumph Tiger experience. Get it on. Steve Deeks, out.